Hello, and thank you for joining today's webinar, Dispensing for Beginners. My name is Adam Lachivo, and I am joined today by our presenters, KJ Sterling and Jonathan Mazer from Parker Comerics. Just a few housekeeping items before we begin. Please be sure to set yourself on mute if you are not already. After the virtual event is over, we will have time for a live question and answer session. If you have questions during the presentation, which we do encourage, please feel free to type them in the Q&A box whenever you think of it, and we'll make every effort to address your question at the end. And finally, not to worry, if you miss any of the presentation, this virtual event will be recorded and a link to view it on your own time will be sent to you following the live presentation. Now let's welcome today's speakers, KJ Sterling and Jonathan Mazer of Parker Comerics.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the virtual event. My name is KJ Sterling. I'm the Global Market Manager for Automotive Electronics at Parker Comerics.
And my name is Jonathan Mazer, and I'm an Applications Engineer at Parker Comerics.
Thank you all for joining us today. We're excited to get started, so let's review today's agenda. We'll begin with a brief introduction to Comerics, followed by an overview of dispensable thermal interface materials and their benefits.
Next, we'll take an in-depth look at the different dispensing methods, equipment, and their components. Selecting the right equipment for dispensing thermal materials involves many considerations, so we'll dedicate a significant amount of time to this topic.
Finally, we'll walk through the dispensing process step by step and discuss some common dispensing patterns that our customers use when using our materials. After the presentation, we will have time for a live Q&A.
We have a lot of material to cover, so without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Parker Comerics is a division of Parker Hannifin, and we are the global leader in the development and application of EMI shielding, electrical grounding, and thermal interface materials. Our global headquarters is located in Woburn, Massachusetts, about 20 minutes outside of Boston. We have 11 manufacturing facilities around the globe, dedicated to providing localized applications engineering and product support in North America, Europe, and the Asia-Pacific regions.
Comerics offers a market-driven product development cycle, connecting with our customers in key markets such as IT, telecommunications, aerospace, defense, automotive, and consumer electronics to drive innovation. Comerics technologies are divided into four main product families. The first is thermal interface materials, which is the focus of today's presentation. These materials are commonly used on printed circuit boards and are designed to effectively transfer heat, helping to prevent electronics from overheating.
The second product family is electromagnetic interference, EMI, shielding, and electrical grounding. This family encompasses gaskets, metal products, paints, coatings, and laminates used in electronics to protect signals from disruption caused by external and internal sources of radiation. Additionally, this category encompasses materials that create intentional electrical paths for grounding, such as fabric over foam and fingerstock solutions. The third segment of our portfolio features engineering plastics, which include both electrically conductive solutions for EMI shielding and non-conductive injection molded plastics used across various industries.
The final product family is integrated solutions, which leverages our decades of expertise in automated assembly, allowing us to utilize all of our product lines to produce tens of millions of complex integrated systems each year for our customers. Let's take a look at the two main categories of thermal interface materials commonly used across multiple industries worldwide. There are more than these, such as phase change materials and thermal greases. So for a complete overview of thermal interface materials, be sure to check out our upcoming virtual event, Thermal Interface Material Innovations 2025.
Most thermal interface materials are made of two core components: the ceramic filler particles, which provide the thermal conductivity, and the polymer binder, which holds the product together and allows for the conformability of otherwise very hard and brittle bulk ceramic materials. Whether the material is classified as a gel or a pad depends on if the polymer binder is a cured system, seen in pads, or an uncured system, used in thermal gels. The uncured polymer binder is what allows thermal gels to be dispensable. There are three main benefits to using single-component dispensable thermal gels. The first benefit is automated application. Thermal gels are typically dispensed using fully automated, high-volume dispensing equipment. This automation reduces human error associated with manual installation, resulting in consistent processes with low variation and shorter cycle times.
The second benefit is design flexibility. Devices often contain multiple components that require effective thermal interface materials to prevent overheating. Different components present various surface areas and gap thicknesses within the same assembly. The dispensing program can be easily adjusted to meet the specific needs of each component.
The third benefit is simplified procurement. When designs involve cooling multiple components using thermal pads would necessitate unique designs and part numbers for each location. In contrast, dispensable thermal gels require only one part number, which simplifies sourcing, stocking, and handling of the thermal interface material. Together, these three benefits contribute to a lower total cost of ownership when using dispensed materials.
Now that we have outlined the types of thermal interface materials and the benefits of dispensing, we can move on to dispensing equipment. When selecting dispensing equipment for thermal gels, the most critical factor to consider is how the thermal interface material is displaced. There are various mechanisms available, and while manufacturers label them differently, they can be categorized into three main types: time pressure, auger, and positive displacement. A general overview of each system is displayed on your screen. In a time pressure or pneumatic system, as shown on the left, air pressure is used to apply force to the thermal interface material, allowing the viscoelastic material to flow. Time pressure systems are the most cost-effective option and are ideal for prototyping or evaluating thermal materials. They are easy to set up, operate effectively over long periods of time, and pose minimal risk to altering the properties of the thermal gel during dispensing. However, they do have trade-offs, including higher process variation and moderate dispense speeds when compared to other mechanisms.
In an auger-based system, shown in the middle, a screw is used to apply force to the thermal material. While this system allows for precise control and low process variation, there are significant drawbacks. Single-component thermal gels are heavily filled with ceramic particles to enhance thermal conductivity, and these hard particles can wear down nearly any grade of metal. The tight tolerances in auger systems can exacerbate this abrasion and slow down dispense speeds. For this reason, Parker Comerics does not recommend using an auger system for thermal gels. They are better suited for other types of dispensable materials.
Lastly, we have positive displacement systems, which encompass a variety of approaches for dispensing materials. The key feature of this category is that the material is dispensed volumetrically rather than pneumatically, ensuring that the exact same amount of material is dispensed each time. This method typically offers the highest dispense speeds when compared to other systems. However, the trade-offs include increased complexity in the dispensing equipment and generally higher costs when compared to equivalent time pressure systems. The choice between a time pressure system and a positive displacement system ultimately depends on whether the benefits of the high performance justify the initial capital investment.
Let's now explore the different categories of dispensing equipment that are best suited for low volume dispensing. First, we have hand dispensers, which are activated manually. These include syringes that hold 10 cc's of thermal gel and larger 30 cc cartridges. Both sizes are available as free samples from Comerics Sampling Department and are typically used in the early stages of development to evaluate the properties of thermal gel for prototype builds.
For larger volumes, caulking guns can be utilized with 300 cc cartridges. These handheld dispensing options come in various types, including pneumatic, manual, and battery-powered positive displacement models. Caulking guns are generally used for prototyping or low-volume production.
And lastly, we have shot size controllers. These are affordable, time pressure dispensing systems that typically use 30 cc cartridges. Shot size controllers are commonly employed for material evaluation, particularly for flow rate testing and prototype builds.
Now let's examine the dispensing equipment typically used for higher volume applications. High volume dispensing equipment can be categorized into three main types: benchtop systems, cartridge pump systems, and pail pump systems. The key differentiator for these systems, when compared to low volume equipment, is the incorporation of robotic control across multiple axes.
Benchtop systems are primarily time pressure systems and are ideal for prototype builds and medium volume manufacturing, where a small amount of thermal gel is needed for the final assembly. These systems usually offer 3-axis control with 30 cc syringes, although there are options that add a 4th axis when the design of a component requires dispensing at an angle.
Cartridge pump systems are often custom configurations provided by dispensing equipment manufacturers. They can include time pressure, auger-driven, and positive displacement options, and can be configured to accommodate a wide variety of package sizes, especially when gallon pails are too large for the specific application. These systems are also typically 3-axis machines.
Lastly, we have pail pump systems, which are the preferred choice for high volume manufacturing. These systems can handle 1 and 5 gallon pails and are the most capable type of dispensing equipment, offering 3, 4, and 5 axis control. When selecting components for pail pump systems, there are several important considerations. We will go through the major components of these systems and what to look out for when making your decision. The first component is the ram system, which is responsible for extruding the thermal gel from the 1 or 5 gallon pail. It's essential that the diameter of the hydraulic ram matches that of the gallon pail to prevent leaks around the seal as the system compresses the thermal gel. Comerix recommends releasing the pressure on the ram system to avoid warping the metal pail and packing the thermal gel, which can occur if the material remains under pressure for extended periods of time.
Next is the hose, or tubing, that connects the ram system to the dispensing valve. If the tubing is too long, it will require more pressure to push the material to the valve and will also hold a larger volume of the material in the line. Therefore, we recommend keeping the tubing as short as possible, ideally 5 feet or less. The diameter of the tube and the presence of sharp bends can hinder the dispensing of the thermal gel. It is important to limit the diameter to between 3/4 of an inch and 1 1/4 inches, and to ensure the tubing is as straight as possible.
The work cell is another critical component of the system, housing the valve, gantry, and computer for the dispensing operation. Manufacturers often include conveyor belts in these systems to facilitate inline manufacturing. Configuring the work cell initially can be a complex process, so we recommend collaborating with your equipment manufacturer to fine-tune the system to fit your specific processes.
The dispensing valve in a pail pump system is designed to control the flow of thermogel during dispensing. There are various options available, including standard on-off valves, snuffback valves that create negative pressure to improve process consistency, and positive displacement valves that dispense material from an additional cavity for increased flow rates and reduced process variation. Since thermal gels are highly abrasive, we recommend using valves with ceramic coatings to minimize wear and extend the lifespan of this component.
And finally, the dispense tip attaches to the orifice of the dispensing valve to enhance precision. Dispense tips can reduce the flow rate of the thermal gel and may alter the properties of the material, so we advise against using a dispensing tip unless it is necessary to avoid interference with a raised feature of the part. Additionally, it's best to avoid tips with long, straight walls or curves. Our applications engineering department has several of these systems in-house, so please don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions about these components.
Now that you have selected your equipment, it's time to start dispensing. The first step is to load the thermal material into the system. The loading process may vary depending on the type of dispensing equipment that is used, but it is crucial to use the original packaging of the material without transferring it to another container, as this could introduce air or alter the material's properties.
Once the material is loaded, the next step is to prepare the surface of the component for the thermal material. We recommend using a chemically compatible solvent such as isopropyl alcohol or acetone to clean any debris or oils from the surface. For optimal adhesion, a surface finish of N8 or rougher is ideal for thermal gels. A too smooth of a surface can hinder the material's ability to wet out properly, which may cause the thermal gels to shift when handling the part. After preparing the surface, the part must be secured in place. It's important to ensure that the part is stable and that its orientation remains consistent across all parts.
The fourth step is to define the dispensing program. After calculating the target locations and shot sizes, you need to select the appropriate dispense pattern to optimize cycle times and minimize the risk of air entrapment. We will review some common dispense patterns shortly.
Finally, the last step is to dispense the material. Since the material is both shear thinning and time thinning, we recommend including a 3 to 5 second purge at the beginning of each shift to normalize the flow rate of the thermal gel.
For the last portion of today's virtual event, we'll take a look at some of the most common dispense patterns that are used to apply thermal gels onto devices. It is important to select the proper dispense pattern to ensure adequate coverage of the heat generating component without introducing unnecessary complexity, which can lead to increased air entrapment and longer cycle times. The first and most highly recommended pattern is the dot, or sometimes called the Hershey kiss. The dot is the simplest pattern and involves the dispensing tip being held stationary above the landing zone, while the flow of the thermal gel is triggered from off to on and then back off again. The dot can cover square or circular components and yields the quickest cycle time.
Next is the line. This is also a simple pattern and involves the dispensing tip being held at constant height above the landing zone and moving parallel to the component. A line is used for rectangular landing zones and yields a moderate cycle time.
For larger landing zones, a more complex dispensing pattern is needed. The serpentine pattern is used to fill large rectangular zones and involves adding a curve to dispense multiple lines next to each other. It's important to ensure that each line overlaps with the last to prevent air entrapment when the thermal gel is compressed in the final assembly. Serpentine patterns take longer to dispense and are more challenging to program, so we recommend using a line to fill rectangular zones if possible.
And lastly is the spiral, used to fill large square or circular zones and involves adding a curve to dispense multiple lines next to each other. Spiral patterns are the most challenging to program, as each concentric circle must overlap with the last to prevent air entrapment. Initiating the spiral from the center and spiraling outwards typically yields more consistent results than starting from the outside diameter and spiraling inwards. As with the serpentine pattern, this is only recommended if a larger volume of material prohibits the use of a dot or Hershey kiss.
Over the last few years, we've been working hard to bring you relevant technical content relating to EMI shielding and thermal management. Please feel free to check out our other virtual events that go into more detail about our technology or specific industry solutions. Recordings of all these events can be found on our website at www.parker.com/Comerics under the Resources tab, and please reach out if you have suggestions or requests for future topics.